Ladies and gentlemen. Hey.
Hey.
Hi, baby.
Hey, hon.
New scenery. Right? First off, hi. DJ Hi, Kevin. I got DJ T-Bear. We are doing our first half of 2024 recap. So I'm here with my assistant, Teddy. Everybody say hi, Teddy.
Hi, Teddy.
Hi, Teddy.
Hi.
Our cat is going to be dragging a toy around a lot. A kitten, I should say. So be distracted. I'll zoom in if he makes his appearance, which he really already has. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you can turn it so you can
All due
see
respect, I feel like I should be more.
That's fine.
So we are here in our living room in our townhome in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. And we are just I've got some questions actually kind of crowdsourced from the DJ Help Desk on Facebook, run by Rachel Lynch and assisted by a bunch of other awesome moderators. And also I threw in some of my own questions, but basically it's 4th of July weekend, so today is the 6th. And we are kind of just trying to recap our first half of the year. We did this in December?
Yeah, I think so.
December, January.
Yeah, right before we moved, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we did that on like all of 2023, but I think it's trends are moving fast in our industry, so I figured we should just do it like every 6 months or so. And we have a lovely little dip here in July, which we will talk about at some point. But I wanted to kind of open up because this might be some people's first time being introduced to us as a DJ pair, but also being introduced to you because they may have watched a bunch of videos or probably not on the channel, just with me talking a lot. And so, yeah, there we go. There he is. Hey, leave the shoes alone. But yeah, so let's start off. Why don't you just start off with our story to how we've gotten here? You can keep it as long or as short as you want.
Yeah, so I started as a photo booth tech, just kind of working that way. Ended up
For a separate company.
For a separate company. Ended up working like my first event with Kevin, and was actually put on as like the DJ assistant, which I had never done before, never really even saw like a DJ controller before or anything. And Kevin was not aware of that. So that was just kind of fun in general to be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. But yeah, I don't know, it went well. We had a great time. And then just kind of, we got to work a couple, I think, events together and just kind of would see each other throughout the year, like at events and stuff. And one day we just kind of started hanging out, and that was all she wrote on that side. And then, yeah, Kevin got the opportunity to join SCE, and the question was kind of asked, like, you need your own assistant. Do you want to be my assistant? And we had a little talk about it, and I was like, we definitely don't need to do that. Like, if we're not comfortable with that, that's completely fine. But that's, he asked me to do that since we kind of, since we know each other. And I was working with him here and there, but working with a lot of other DJs too, helping them. So yeah, it was just kind of one of those questions. And now we are a team and get to work together. I've kind of gotten to learn like a lot more now in the DJ world. We practice at home and do things, and I'm trying to build myself up a little bit to feel more comfortable doing stuff kind of, outside of just always being kind of behind you. But that's just kind of me. I like to be kind of the second person, so I don't mind just kind of being told what to do and where to be and, hey, do this at this time and whatnot. But I've definitely learned a lot, and I am enjoying it a lot, so here we are.
Here we are. Bro,
and here's our cat.
You are making way more appearances than I expected. Get your butt out of here. Yeah, great. Great recap.
Thanks.
Great recap.
I definitely missed a lot, but I don't want to
right,
keep
but
it too
also
long.
we do have our entire first conversation that we had at our old place. So that's actually top right corner. You can check it out now. You can go click that. That one's pretty long. But I do think it dives a lot deeper into that, and I don't want to step on what we've already talked about with all that stuff either. So I literally just had our background summary, and just talking about DJing and things for you specifically. Like, what are you trying to improve about DJing? And in that, maybe you can mention what you feel makes a good DJ and what you feel is like important specifically for us in the private event sector.
Hi, Lincoln. Welcome.
God, we're gonna have to play with this fucking cat on this video. We're literally gonna have to play with him.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
What you've been working on as a DJ,
Okay.
and what you feel makes a good DJ in like the private events versus like everything else.
So me personally, I've just, so I obviously started learning how to DJ just during COVID because we didn't have anything else to do, and I really wanted to know how to DJ, and also like being an assistant, like I wanted to know how I can help more, because I did just always kind of feel awkward like being a DJ assistant and stepping up like to help with intros, but it's like at the same time like I didn't know what any of the buttons did. If I accidentally hit something or if something went wrong and you're out emceeing, like I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm not even gonna have a clue. So that kind of is what I really wanted to start just getting involved in DJing and figuring things out. And we quickly learned like beat matching was the first thing that you kind of like taught me on, and then after that I feel like I kind of just started like stepping back and watching other DJs, watching YouTube videos and things, so like I think right now the biggest
Can you name
thing,
some people that you watched on YouTube, since we are going to be showing this on YouTube and it might behoove people to go check these people out?
I honestly don't know. I just was searching for different things I know like Spinelli's one that would always come up when I would search for stuff. Some of the other ones I can't picture who they were at this time. It was just like a lot of like cue point training and things, because obviously like I learned your way of cue points, but I wanted to see how other people were doing stuff, because I just do better with knowing what are other people doing too, and then I can kind of form my own way of doing that myself. But also because we work together, it's good for me to kind of base off of what you're doing, in my opinion, too, because then I know how your Serato is set up. I know how your cue points are set up. So I think that has also kind of helped, too. Like if you are stepping off and I need to jump in and DJ, like I already know how your cue points are set. So that is like super helpful on my end of things being an assistant, because I know not all assistants know how to DJ or do those things either. But a lot of the things I'm currently trying to work on is like definitely mixing more in key. That's one of the biggest things the last couple of months, like I've really been focusing on. I went through and like redid all of my crates in my Serato, organized them, started messing around with like the smart crates, which has helped me like a ton.
Crazy,
I love it.
It's just so amazing that some people don't know what they are, and I totally understand, because there was a long time before most of us did. I'm gonna lock you up, boy. I will lock you up. I love you.
Just lay down. Eat a cookie.
Yeah.
But I think totally just lost my train of thought there.
Smart crates are important, and you should learn them. I'm gonna make a video on that. I love what you said about number one about the cue points, because I just made that video about cue points, and it's like one of the biggest things that I said was like, go watch other people too, because you need to take ideas. Like I love saying ripping a page out of people's books and making your own. I think that's a great way to go through anything. The way you do introductions, the way you mix, the way you set cue points, the way you sales huge. I'm not making any sales videos though. Also, you mentioned as like a music mixer, I guess would be the role, the assistant, like during introductions and stuff, that you want to be able to, if you hit the wrong button, know how to hit the right button or undo what you did. And like the things that make a good DJ, the reason I wrote that question down is we've talked about it so much this year, is like troubleshooting and being able to just like keep the show going without other people knowing something went wrong. And a lot of times that can be nipped in the bud, but oftentimes you got to be able to like roll with stuff. So how, with that in mind, how would you say we like keep the party going when stuff is going a little bit awry? I can't even say it's really happened that much this year.
Microphone would be the only
Oh,
thing.
the microphone.
But
Yeah.
but I feel like we both handled that like very well. Like it was just, I'm not over there throwing my hands in the air like, I don't know what to do. I just knew there was physically nothing I could do on my end. So I was just kind of looking at you like with a smile on my face, like keep rolling.
What the hell happened then?
The channels were the
We
same.
had the microphones on the same channel. So just like a total lapse of attention. It's because we went back to Central Pennsylvania. We were with we knew every single vendor, and it was so fun. And I forgot to rescan my microphones. I rescanned one. It landed on the same channel as the other one. And so we were running with both of our reception microphones on the same channel. So as soon as I went to click the second one on, neither of them work, which it's fucking, come on. Like, come on. No, obviously I understand why it happens.
But it's like those little things happen,
Right.
Little things get forgotten, and now it's one of the things every time we're like, hey, did we double check this? Did we rescan this? But in the moment, it was a quick like, you kind of looking at me and me looking at you, and I was like,
It's kind of just like a wide-eyedness looking at each other and just like.
But yeah, and we just quickly, you just gave them your microphone for speeches, and that was that. You pulled the other one off. You made like a funny comment about it, and everybody laughed. Like, and that was
Always
it.
about the jokes.
But we're not like jumping on the microphone going, sorry guys, technical difficulties.
The worst thing you could possibly do, literally the worst thing you could possibly do when troubleshooting is let everyone know. Just roll with it. If it comes to that point, then yeah, you're there. But if you can just be like, just look at who's ever in charge and like doing this and just be like 2 minutes, and then go. And people in the crowd will think you're just saying peace.
Nah.
Peace.
Yeah, so I think like with that said though, like with your assistant, you guys need to have like communication, and even if it is little cues like, hey, like if this is going wrong, like just throw me a this or do that, or if I want the microphone turned up, here's my signal for you. If I want it down,
don't tug your ear. Don't tell them to steal third base.
Like just don't assume that person knows what you're trying to tell them, especially if they're not like super experienced with DJing. Like it's already kind of very nerve-wracking to be that person that everybody's kind of looking at, and then if you've got someone across the room looking at you saying, make sure you do this, and you're like, what?
I can't read lips. I don't know what you're saying.
I suck at reading lips.
I don't have my contacts in right now. I can barely see the camera. But
over communicate with your assistant.
Over communicate.
Honestly, go through everything. Make sure you know the timeline. The assistant should be reading the timeline. They should be going through and making sure. Like I always go through. Like Kevin, will have all of the crates set for the day, like our formal stuff for formalities. Like I always go through them myself, even if he's already preset. But sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes I go through and preset them, like where we want them. But
if you're talking to the crowd, look at the camera. You don't feel comfortable doing that's okay. It's fine. Just thought I'd suggest to see how you feel about it.
Okay.
I mean, even if you just do like a little, I don't know where to look because I don't want to just look at you.
Well, I'm talking to you. I'm interviewing with you. I'm not interviewing with them.
Okay. There you go, Jess. There's our fucking banter. No, yeah. So I love that we ride together because I think even I tell my couples all the time, like we'll sit here. We do Wedding Wednesdays. If we have 1, 2, or 3, that'll kind of change our scale of the week. But Wedding Wednesdays are important because if we have a Friday wedding, then I still have like 2 days to get the information that we might not have or ask the question. And it's not like day of or night before. They're not at the rehearsal dinner getting hey, I was looking for your song on Spotify and I found 2 versions. Do you want this one or that one? They're not going to go and like, oh, hold on, on Trudy that I haven't seen in 6 years. I gotta go. My DJ's like, that's super embarrassing to me. And then Aunt Trudy knows that you didn't do your homework, DJ. So
Yeah.
That's the way I feel.
And in my opinion, it's the assistant's homework too the day of. Like, obviously,
Yes.
you don't know that stuff usually the day before unless you guys are somehow communicating that. But
it's not your job to like put the music together. That's 100% my job. Yeah. But I think that at some point you should have to familiarize yourself with it and not just be like during introductions.
That's the first time you're hearing.
The first time you're hearing the song, the first time you're looking at what the cue points are or anything like that. Yeah, that's gonna.
Well, because we've had times where like I've gone to like load a song and like somehow the file got corrupt or something. And like, luckily I'm checking that ahead of time. And I'm like, hey, like we need to get this song back. Like this is wrong. So if I wouldn't have done that, you're probably not going to double check that you've already triple checked everything.
I already triple checked it,
So it's kind of like that's the step where I'm getting the second half of it and saying, hey, like we kind of have like a little problem here. I'm noticing timelines not matching up with like what we've got going on in here. So
that is my one thing about doing this stuff earlier in the week is that it sketches me out because then it's not like fresh.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, cool. Let's talk like trends of 2024. That's one of the lines is trends of 2024. So I guess like you could define it more as like characteristics of a good wedding in 2024, and not necessarily like characteristics of a bad wedding, but things that just aren't working as well because we want to keep things like positive, solution oriented versus like that was bad at your wedding, but also big songs of 2024, and I would say not ones that are coming out. Like the big songs that are working at weddings that are coming out are $1 Million Baby, Shabu, a bar song, Tipsy.
Dua Lipa, I feel like
Dua Lipa is always just gonna be, but I don't know. Dua Lipa to me is starting to feel like a crutch. Same way like Justin Bieber and Fetty Wap were in like 2015 to 2017. But yeah. I would say These Words is like a super cool song. So Natasha Bedingfield is popping.
Unwritten.
So that Unwritten, we have the Beat Breaker edit. No, you can't have it. Because Beat Breaker gave it to me. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, betray my very, very surface friendship with one of the best producers ever? No, I'm not going to do that. Go to his Patreon. I'm sure he's got it on there. But yeah, so that's been working great. So there is like that flux of some slightly older stuff. You get to like hear it from the outside a little bit more, which I envy sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like, I was going to say with that, when you said that, like, come on, Eileen. Like,
right.
I feel like you
like
never,
heavier than
like,
ever.
That was never requested or like really at all. I feel like this year it's like everyone wants that song.
Right.
Like Valerie is another one.
Valerie. Oh my God. Yeah.
And even Shout, I swear to God, I feel like nobody ever asked for that song. And now all of a sudden everyone's like, I want this song. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah. Like the most random
like,
people.
Why did this come back all of a sudden?
It's not just the white people requesting Shout anymore. And it's kind of funny.
It's so strange though, because I feel like it was like, I never heard that song for the longest time. And now all of a sudden I feel like everybody, like, can you play Shout? Or like it's on their list to play. I'm like, why? And
the same people like that are saying, can you please not play any of that like cliche wedding stuff? And I'm like,
but you Shout.
These same people are, I do think that Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody is done.
Yeah.
So like, I got to wipe that clean.
We've had a couple like that's on like the do not play. So.
Which is so sad for me because that was one of my karaoke songs through college. But I'm just like getting kind of bored of it. I am. Yeah. I feel it. So I get it. Cool.
Other trends, I would.
Line dances still nobody gives a shit.
No, that's been a big one. I feel like couples are voicing like right off the bat, no line dances.
Uncensored music.
Yes.
People want to go grimy and greasy.
Yeah.
We did one wedding at arguably one of the most luxurious venues that we do, Liberty House.
Oh.
And bro, when I dropped West Coast vibes, such the coolest couple, Nikki and Nick. She's from the West Coast, like Bay Area. So I drop, what's my favorite word? Bitch. And some people clearly don't know who Too Short is. But like, I mean, like the people that got the West Coast vibes were grooving, but I don't know. It was a little. It felt a little edgy for some. But we listened to the couple, and I don't care. I want to play that shit. So yeah, unedited stuff, very cool.
The cocktail style reception. We've done two
Cocktail
of those.
style, 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
Cocktail style reception. Yeah.
Don't we have? I think we have another one coming up, or
I feel like I just
or
talked
maybe
to
that was-
somebody about it.
yeah. I feel like that's another big thing that's kind of becoming.
Yeah, people just don't want to have the formalness of anything. Like everybody is becoming so informal. I am formal. Informal. Informal.
Yeah, I mean, just,
that is fucking hard to say.
Yeah, like there's no garter bouquet anymore. You know, all of that stuff fell off in the last couple of years, and I feel like especially this year we have not even done a bouquet toss, which I feel like if anything's happening, it's that.
We did one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the Old Mill Inn.
Oh, okay.
Bert's sister's getting married today. There. That's so funny.
Yay. Yeah. But yeah, I would think if I could say that a trend that should be added would be couples should really just start thinking about their toast givers and how many they have. I really think that is one big thing that can really, like, you know, they want to do all this fun stuff and they want to have the dancing, but sometimes your toast, if you've got 5 people coming up, can really like halt that from happening, which we've had happen. We've had 30-minute toasts, and then, like, you know, the couple's kind of upset because they're not getting their dance time, and it's like, well, I mean, you know, you gotta pick your battles here.
You want to pay respect. I get it. Do it at, what did we, solution oriented, right? Let's give answers to.
Yeah.
Do it at the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah. Rehearsal dinner, do a welcome party the day before.
Welcome party stuff, yeah.
Just select 2, maybe 3 tops, you know, that really feel that are going to give the best speech. I mean, you don't need to have all of these people talking. I would definitely say, like, the day before, though, is the biggest thing that we've kind of, like, I've heard of other people doing it, so.
We should say, if the dancing is what's important to you.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't necessarily directed to couples, but this might be something that you can share with your couples where it's like, if you want to dance until the end of time, what I have observed, having done this for a living for, you know, you don't say that actually. Having done as many weddings as I've done, I've noticed this trend of people giving people the opportunity to give a toast, and that actually cuts into what we actually want to do time. So, you know, maybe suggest they just limit their number. And then if they ask, I would say 2 or 3. 2 or 3. You know, it doesn't need to be one from each side because, frankly, guys just suck at giving speeches. Like, there's one in every once in a while, but the only really good one I remember, the guy was on fucking beta blockers.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, I feel like you have no choice but to give a good speech when you're doing that.
Or a time limit. We had the one couple, they had a bunch, and they did give them a time limit, and they pretty much all stayed within that. I think it was like 2 minutes they told them they were allowed to talk. And they pretty much, for the most part, all stayed within that because the bride was very...
The bride has to be scary, though.
The bride was very...
But that's something that a lot of people don't want to do to their friends is like, be like, I need to be scary to you. Yeah. Like, let us be the scary one if you want. Like, tell us to play the, you know, like a horn sound or something when they hit 2 minutes.
You're done.
And then if they hit 2 minutes and 15 seconds to fall asleep on the horn, like that would be fun. If you're having that type of like informal vibe, which I think we fit in very well, but we can still do the formal stuff, of course. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. That's a good one. I like the toast advice.
Trying to think if there's any other like trendy stuff going on right now, though.
Me too. Everybody gets lifted in the air.
I was just thinking that, and then also like all the groomsmen's coming in together, all the bridesmaids coming in together. So much better. Definitely, yeah. I think
even just whole party as a mob, like just send them in.
They just look more comfortable doing it. So that's definitely
they look more comfortable. They're a little more of like a number versus an individual, which kind of takes away some of their like neediness.
Yeah,
you know, because I've never had like. I did one time. We had the bridesmaids try and change their song at the last second. Mm-hmm. That things were just going behind, so it kind of didn't work out. But Like if you've ever had 13 pairs of people and they all want to change their songs at the end, I absolutely am like, no, not happening. And I'll lie to them and I'll say it's pre-recorded. But I have pre-recorded stuff before. But anyway, for the sake of keeping this video on the short side, we'll get into some of our questions that were sourced from the DJ Help Desk. So balancing our work, like I guess this is going to be more for you specifically. So first off, let's talk about just like time off, because actually right now we have time off.
Yes.
From weddings, which is, in my opinion, important because, you know, June was just bonkers, and I know I get a certain type of way. Just when we did 3, then 2, then 2, then 3. Well, I did 3 because I had another event, but I was just like completely spent. So I feel like I'm just catching my breath now. So to answer the question was basically like, how do we set that time? Like we always aim for like around the 4th of July, setting up time off, just like wiping that weekend clean. And I'll be honest, I don't think I put time off in for next year, so we might not be, but like try and look at it, you know, right now, your year next year, and see a weekend where you don't have anything and just block it off. There's no, in my opinion, there's no event that is worth you losing control of like your mental health or y'all know how you get. You know how you get. Like you get irritable. You get short-tempered. You start just like thinking about, oh no, this is going to happen because it happened at the last one, and these negative thoughts like really creep in. So you just got to give yourself time to like almost forget that stuff and remember that you like what you do, or just take time off from DJing. You know, I think that could be one of the best things. And then you have time to go out and see people on a Saturday night. You have time to have a weekend for once. That's the way I see it.
Especially if some of you are working full-time jobs. Like I know there's not all DJs, this isn't always their full-time job. Even if you're doing a part-time thing. I mean, for me, I'm working a full-time job and also full-time helping Kevin. Like there's only 3 weddings I'm not assisting him on this year, and it takes a lot for me to even say that. Like I tried to back out of a trip because you got a wedding added on. Like
I don't let her do that. No.
But that's just my dedication to being your assistant. Like if you know, so it's always also, that's another thing I guess for a DJ. Like it's good to have a main assistant, but you should have a couple people in your bag to call. Like if your assistant does need time or they have a family emergency or something comes up, you should have extra people to reach out to that can help you. So
at SCE, we're super fortunate because obviously we have a roster of people, but they are not there to help me. Like it is very much that they have their own schedule, their own life. And I want to make sure that, like, same with you. Like, I want to respect that. And I almost, like, I did force you to go on that trip in August.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, no, you're not. Like, I'll figure it out. It's fine. It's a month and a half away. I've got time. At the end of the day, I could snap my fingers and call somebody up and, you know, somebody will be there. Mm-hmm. It's not hard to find people, in my opinion. I just think like the DJ Help Desk could be a great place. I could just be like, hey, I have this date open. Does anybody want to come out? I'm sure 3 people would jump at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great resource to have that Rachel is creating.
Yes,
so.
Because you get to see somebody else do something, and that's super cool. But obviously also we like to work with SCE people as well if the opportunity is there. I was talking with Seth Velez, one of our DJs. He's also a firefighter. And how he loves working with SCE guys because you just know it's going to be good. Like, you know, we know what button to press when, what's good, what's bad, and how to capture content if that's also something that you're doing. So,
yeah. And I mean, I think people probably want to know, like, yes, like we live together. We both work from home during the week. We are together all the time. Then we go out and we work weddings together. And I have so many people say like, I don't understand how you guys do that. How do you guys work together? And I mean, we started working together before we were ever in a relationship. So I think that obviously helped, but also we are very work oriented people. So with that, like we've even had conversations, you know, when we get to a wedding, I know I instantly go into work mode. He instantly goes into work mode. And at that point, we kind of draw this line of, yes, we're in a relationship, but we're at work right now. So really work is what matters. Making this day is what matters. We're not here to argue with each other or to create, problems, in that form. Like we're here for them. We're not here for us. So we both just kind of go into that instant work mode.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes we do jump on each other, and we'll like kind of take a step back and be like, oh, like, hey, sorry about that. But it's kind of like, again, like we're at work. We're here to work. So
Yes.
when people say like, I don't understand how you guys balance that out, it's our personalities. I'm not saying that everybody can go ask their
No.
wife or their girlfriend to work with them. Is it amazing? Yeah, like it's great. I get to learn from him. He learns things from me
Yeah,
sometimes. I
absolutely.
think, I got to do the wedding planning side of things. So I think that helps to balance us out and helps keep on track and things like that. But definitely don't think that you can just do that with anybody. It takes a lot.
Well, like even if you bring your best friend along,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if somebody's close to you. Like I did my cousin's wedding. This is a long time ago, and I had my sister and my dad both do like the changes of songs for intros, and I just sat there and I showed them both like 6 times. And I do remember at one point, like my sister was gripping it better than my dad, and I was just like, "Dad, you gotta let her do it. Like I can't have two cooks in this kitchen. You gotta let Bridget just run."
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, thankfully my dad was humble enough to be like, "Yeah, I see that," and my sister crushed it. But my dad was there watching just in case because he didn't have to move the stuff. He just had to know the stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of ended up working out great to literally teach people in 20 minutes,
Well, and it's nice because then, we get to ride home together and we get to recap and talk about the day and talk about things we want to do. Or, that's how we kind of started coming up with where, when the guests are coming in for reception now, like I'm live mixing, like I'm DJing. I came up with my own basic set list that I'm running. I've started to come up with another one. It's fun for me because I get to do that. So even if you have an assistant that has questions or like isn't someone that you can talk with at home and we can go in the other room and practice things together, honestly ask them like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in learning? Like, do you like, they could just make up a fun set list and DJ it for intros. That at least gets them to be a part of it. They get to learn a little bit more about what they're doing on a DJ board. But yeah, I mean, for me, that's like my fun part of the night. Like, and I'm like, it's so fun. Like people are coming in, they're dancing. I get people coming up to me and they're like, yeah. Or I've had a lady come up like, oh, female DJ, woo! Like,
I just like that's another thing I put on here, which is just how we differ, and it's not because of me, it's because of you. Like that we have these different angles about stuff. Like I've worked weddings on the photo and video side, but I feel like most people are can appreciate that side. You've had like this wedding planning experience, which is critical in so many different ways than just the DJ side of things, and also you're female. That's super comforting for so many people to see that side of things, and I mention it constantly in meetings. Just like, like if you need your dress bustled, she's done it before. We've done that for couples before.
mm-hmm.
They were my good college friends, but it shouldn't make a difference. Like you help people. Your goal is the success of the event, and that's one thing that we both get, and that's why other stuff doesn't get in the way. I feel like sometimes, if anything, I bring the work home with me, and I forget to like turn off the work mode, which is something that I think Daddy Lack specifically asked. Like it was Daddy Lack or Sean. Oh, right. Sean Holland Sr. He posed it really well. DJing is one of those occupations where you're never done with work. There's always something we could be doing to improve our skills or our business. We also are expected to respond to texts and emails in an instant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So yeah, he pretty much was just asking, how do you balance career and relationship? How do you shut it down and carve out time to like basically spend together? Yeah, I don't know. I especially this last year, like prioritizing sleep for me because I hibernate daily, and just making sure like we do pay attention to each other as much as we possibly can.
Well, and I would say off of that too, like, I'm not sure how everyone else is doing it, but like, you have your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are the days that you do meetings. So those are the only days that couples can schedule meetings. Obviously, if they need something that, is outside of that based on their work schedule, Kevin will work with them. But if, you're setting your days, these are my 3 days that I'm going to have my meetings. A lot of times I would say like our Thursdays are kind of like our days, like during the week that we'll like spend time together or go do something together. Because a lot of times we're gearing up for weddings again, and Kevin usually has like a way, or you still have your wedding Wednesdays. Are you still doing that where you prep all your stuff for the weddings?
I mentioned that earlier in this.
Yeah. Listen here.
You listen here. You're not listening.
So, he's setting that day to prep for that. He's giving himself at least a day to recover before the weekend. And we've even talked about, because, I notice like, you'll wake up in the morning and you're basically on the computer until like you go to sleep at night. So we've even talked about like maybe need to set like office hours for yourself.
All this talking has literally happened within the last 36 hours.
Yes, it has.
Yes. But this is our time where we see us at our busiest, or I guess specifically me at our busiest, me at my busiest. And I cave up and I just like sit there and make sure everything's perfect because pressure makes diamonds. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to do it. And yeah, we're trying to make changes to, change that sort of. I would love it if I could go into every single event carefree, but I can't, just to a certain extent, because I'm worried that we're going to get a flat tire because that's happened. I'm worried that I'm going to forget something because that's happened. We're going to get a song wrong because that's happened. But like, that's what makes you better. That's what makes you better, because you get as scared as you can without just completely dropping off and being jaded, because that's how it works. You get super when you're at that top right before you get jaded, I think you're at your best, so I think we kind of sit right there, and then this time off like brings us back down that scale a little bit.
Yeah, and I would say like if you're having trouble doing that like at home, like you're not finding that time to spend with your person, set literally each week, because it may be a different day each week depending on your meetings and weddings and events, but each week pick a day, be like, hey, this is going to be our day. This is the day where, once you're off work, we're going to go do our thing together, just us, no phones, no emails, no none of that. Just have a couple hours to yourselves. I know a couple of DJs that they particularly always have off on, they take a Monday off and they take a Tuesday off, and that is their time to spend with their significant other or their children, and those are their days. So you just kind of have to find that day that's going to work for you, and also realize you have to have a life outside of work.
That
because a lot of days I'm working 7 days or 14 days in a row based off of what I'm doing. Yes, I'm working from home, but I'm secluded upstairs and he's secluded in his office, and it might be a quick, hey, I hope your day's good.
Yeah, that's it. Just a check-in, but also just like for us, the biggest thing in it all is like balance, and just I know she works and I know I have a little more free time, and I know this upsets you, that you come down and everything's done, but that's exactly what I want you to feel. Like, I just want you to see that you can actually just schlep, I mentioned something to someone that Teddy got up early last Sunday to just chill on the couch, and that made me so happy, because you'd never get to do that. You never give yourself that time.
No, it doesn't happen often.
That's unfair.
But everybody needs to do it. Everybody. So
everybody.
You too.
Bro, I am a schlup.
No, you're not.
I sit here all the time. I fell asleep right here yesterday while you were making dinner.
That's fine. You need a nap.
I'm tired. Okay, cool. I think that let me just double check the Facebook stuff, because I just want to say, first off, thanks to Gina, to Jess, to Larry Garrity. We found another Garrity. He didn't say any questions, but he just said, cool to see another Garrity here.
Yeah.
Sean Holland, of course. Eddie Brock, Daddy Lack, my man. Nate Clancy said, ask GBT. So, fuck you, dude. It's GPT. Jorge Rodriguez, I appreciate you sort of like just giving us the insight from your perspective to like guide to customers. This isn't necessarily designed for customers to see, but I do think that like hearing if a couple heard both of us thinking of like is willing to make an hour-long video about this,
Yeah.
like believe me, we're putting our time in for you. And then Alan Chitlick. Ooh, I never said your last name before. He did ask who was the target for the video, so sort of doing the same thing, and he actually was the one just talking about trends. In New Jersey and Pennsylvania, we do things very differently. New Jersey specifically versus across the country. So I kind of love that we still have like our Pennsylvania weddings, our Virginia weddings, our Maryland weddings. We're going up to Connecticut to do a few, just one this year.
The after party.
The after party, right. So we won't see it there. But, you know, like in the last year and a half, we've been all over the freaking place. And it's cool to see how they're done differently. But also why it is important to have, if we're like the quarterback of the wedding. I love using football as an analogy for a wedding because there's always somebody higher, right? You know, there's an offensive coordinator, there's a head coach on the QB side of things, and then there's even the owner and, you know, that whole box action going on. So, you know, there's always somebody higher up than us, and I like to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, but also at the time as DJs, we have to call the audible and we have to sort of run the show, you know? So, I do think that there's probably a lot to chew on in this video. If you made it all the way through, do me a favor and comment what your favorite assistant, what's the best thing that any of your assistants have ever done if you work with an assistant. And if you don't work with an assistant, tell me what's keeping you from working with an assistant, because I just think that it can take so much off of your plate, you know?
It just lets you be more involved as the DJ. I
mean,
in general.
Which I think is important. So, yeah, if you made it this far, let me know things your assistant has done that are good or what's keeping you from getting an assistant. There may be value in that. Maybe we're wrong. We don't know. But I like to pay my girl. I like to keep it in the household, too. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's probably so much that we can continue to elaborate on, but I want to keep this like a watchable length. Our audio recording is about 50 minutes right now. So, well,
they can put in the comments too.
Yeah.
Any questions for next time? We're
questions,
planning on,
yes, for the next one. Yeah. For the next one, absolutely.
If it triggered anything for you,
because we're gonna try and plan one for December, January, depending on what our weekends look like around then, and obviously around the holidays and stuff. So, Link, anything else to say?
See you at the expo.
Yes. If you're going to the expo, hit us up. We'll be there. Teddy's taking classes. I'm not.
Well, we'll see.
Unless I get a free pass. So if you have a free pass, hit me up too. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for your input on this. Teddy, thank you for sitting down with me again. This was a little more comfortable than last time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot cooler in here. Your last office got so hot. It was like my face was
Yeah.
bright red. I was
we
like
were
sweating.
Yeah. Well, it was probably had the.
Your belly's growling.
My belly's growling.
Time for breakfast.
I'm so hungry.
I have no idea what time it is.
Yeah, we don't have to be anywhere until 6:30, which is sweet.
Cool.
So yeah. So thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. I really hope the video didn't die. That would be awkward. Yeah. Appreciate you watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Scene of the hit and run. Now I remember I requested a list of registered owners from the DMV. That list came through your office, but your name wasn't on it. Can you explain that, sir?
I don't know. Oversight, clerical error?
Where is that car today, Mr. Gamble?
It was stolen. I reported it.
Pretty convenient. A short time later, you joined Alcoholics Anonymous, didn't you?
Oh, I can't
Monk
believe
in the background, everybody.
I did not think I was going to like that show. I really like it. I think it's just because, you know, the time period.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
So we're just pretty much like talking to each other.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right. Let's get her going.